Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome once again to our channel My Mastery Tutor. Hope I'm being heard. So kama hujafinya hiyo subscription button, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay, kwa Kiswahili sijui channel waita nini. So today we're going to solve quadratic equations. Quadratic equations, very simple topic, and let's start. Now for you to solve quadratic equation lazima ujue how to factorize. So just likewise, in case hujaona my last video, check it out at my playlist, grade 10, which you'll see it at the top there. So let's start. Now first let's factorize this one, and for us to factorize, I've already explained it using the SPF. That is the sum product and the factors. So the sum is basically 11, and the product, this is your sum, and the product is basically 10 if the coefficient for x squared is 1, so the product is 10. Now ask yourself, which are the two numbers that if I add gives me 11, if I multiply those two numbers gives me 10? Which two numbers are those? Is it 10 and 1? So it's 10 and 1 because 10 times 1 gives you 10, and 10 plus 11 gives you 11. So obviously if you factorize, it's going to become x plus 10. In case you don't know how nimefika hapa, make sure you watch my previous videos on this, and I've taught it the simplest way. So once you get the factors, just do x plus 10 and x plus 1. Now once you reach this point, we'll imagine, or with no imagination, we'll assume that this one can be 0 or this one can be 0. So we'll say that x plus 10 is equal to 0. Now if you put the 10 to the other side of the equation, it's going to give you negative 10. Or x plus 1 can be equal to 0, and therefore 1 ukipeleka the other side of the equation is going to give you negative 1. So your x, or you'll have two x values, that is x1 is negative 10, or x2 can be negative 1. Okay, what if we have a question like this, where we've been asked to solve 2x squared minus 7x minus 9 equal to 0. Now again, if you've watched my previous videos, then this one might be easy for you. Now our sum is basically the middle number, which is negative 7. Okay, our product is the first times the last number, which if you take 2 times negative 9 is going to give you negative 18. So let me just wrap this. It's going to give you negative 18. So which are the two factors? Now for you to know the two factors, basically just like the previous videos, I'm going to show you also. Now the factors for negative 18 may include negative 9 and 2. We have 9 and negative 2. I think that one only, I think 6, negative 3, and we have negative 6 and 3. Those ones are enough. Now the one that if I add gives me negative 7 is just negative 9 and positive 2. Now after knowing that, then solving it becomes very easy. So what you do the m and n rule. That is, you take negative 7 and branch it into negative 9 and 2. So 2x squared, the negative 7 is branched into negative 9x plus 2x minus 9, which is equal to 0. Then you factorize the first group and the second group, the first group being this. So your common factor is x into bracket 2x minus 9. And then you factor out this one, the common factor is just 1, and you just get the same thing, 2x minus 9, which is equal to 0. So, and therefore, if factorize out, then it's going to be x plus 1 and 2x minus 9, which is equal to 0. And just like the one that I've showed before this question, we just did the same, and you're doing the same. So we'll take x plus 1 equal to 0, and therefore x, if you put the 1 to the other side, is going to be negative 1. Or 2x minus 9 is equal to 0. If you put the negative 9 to the other side, it's going to be 2x equal to positive 9. And then if you divide by 2, okay, you get x to be 9 over 2. Or you can say 4.5, and it is just basically 4.5 or 4.5, whichever one that you might think is correct. Now, what if you get a question like this? Also, obviously, it's going to use SPF method. I need to draw it bigger so that you guys can able to see it. The sum is basically 3. The product is 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. And therefore, the two factors are going to be negative 2 to negative 2. No, it's supposed to be 4 and negative 1. Because if you take 4 and negative 1, multiply them together, you're going to get negative 4. And if you add them, you're going to get positive 3. So yeah, so the 3a is going to be divided into 2. So you're going to get 2a squared plus 4a minus a minus 2 to be equal to 0. Okay, and if you factor out 2a squared and 4a, you're going to factor this way, 2a into bracket a plus 2, and you're going to factor the other one, and the common factor there is negative 1, and is also going to become a plus 2, which is equal to 0. Okay, now bring the 2a and the negative 1 together, and the a plus 2 this way, which is equal to 0. So 2a minus 1 equal to 0, and therefore if you divide by, let's say, with the negative 1 to the other side, you're going to get 2a to be equal to 1, and divide by 2, a is going to give you positive a half. That's the first one. Or you say a plus 2 to be equal to 0, put the 2 to the other side, and therefore a is going to be negative 2. So there are 2 a's to for your answer. That is. Now, what if we get a question like this, a word problem question, then how will we solve it? Now, the product of two consecutive whole numbers is 42 or 42. Now, determine the numbers itself. Now, two consecutive whole numbers. Consecutive means safatan. So if the first number is y, then basically the second number is going to be y plus 1. The same thing, 1 is followed by 2, that way. Then you have 3, 4. So for you to get the next number, just add 1 to the next to the previous number. So the first number is y, the second number is y plus 1. So what basically means that if you multiply the two, that is y and y plus 1, okay, if you take y and multiply it to y plus 1, it gives you 42. Okay, so y times y gives you y squared. This times this, and this times this gives you y squared plus y, which is equal to 42. Arrange it in quadratic expression, and a quadratic expression should always be in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So y squared plus y, bring the 42 to the other side, it's going to give you minus 42 equal to 0. Therefore, your sum is going to be positive 1. Your product is negative 42. Okay, so your sum is 1, your product is negative 42. So then how do you solve for such a question? Obviously, the same thing that we did. So the two factors are going to be negative 6 and 7, because if you add the two, it's going to give you it's going to give you positive 1, and if you multiply the two, it's going to give you negative 42. So again, if the coefficient for y squared or x squared is 1, then the easiest way is this way: y minus 6 and y plus 7, which is equal to 0. So you don't need to do the long process where you just subdivide 1y into negative 6 and 7. It's going to be a very long process. So we'll say that y minus 6 is equal to 0, and therefore y is going to be positive 6. Or y plus 7 is equal to 0, and therefore if you put the 7 to the other side, y is going to be negative 7. So your y is either 6 or negative 7. Now, what if you have another question like this, where they told you consider a rectangular tile, which looks like this, obviously, which has a width of x units and if its length is 2 more than its width, then it's basically just x plus 2, and the area is 80 square units. Okay, so determine the dimensions of the rectangular tile, hence work out its perimeter. So area is given by obviously length times width. So if you look at our length is x plus 2, okay, multiply to x, so which will be equal to 80. So let's put it this way: x times x plus 2 is equal to 80. So you're going to get x times x, which is x squared, x times 2 giving you 2x equal to 80, and always make it in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. And therefore let's bring the c to the left side, and as a result you're going to get x squared plus 2x minus 80, which is equal to 0. Now after doing that, obviously you use the SPF rule. Yeah, sum is positive 2, your product is negative 80 for now because of this one behind x squared, and your factors now. Now which two numbers that if you add gives you 2, and if you multiply gives you negative 80? Which two numbers are those? Negative 80. I'm also trying to figure this out, but let's see the factors for 80. So we have 8 and 10. By the way, we just found it. It's basically 8 and 10. So 8 is the 8 and 10. We have 10 and negative 8. The factors are 10 and negative 8, because if you add them gives you 2. Okay, and therefore if you have x plus 10 and we have x minus 8 equal to 0, it's very easy to find out the x values. So x plus 10 equal to 0, x is equal to negative 10, or x minus 8 equal to 0, and therefore x is going to be obviously equal to positive 8. So these are your answers. Very easy. Now once again, we have another word problem question, but this time is application of quadratic equations, how we apply them. Now we have a question which says two cyclists Jimmy and Jay cover a distance of 30 kilometers. Jimmy's average speed is x kilometers per hour, while Jay's speed is 5 kilometers per hour slower, vile walivyosema. So they start together and the difference in their traveling time is 1 hour. Calculate their respective average speeds. Okay, kama kawaida lazima uarrange vitu stepwise. Sasa wewe wajua hawa cyclists wawili Jimmy na Jay. Okay, they cover distance of 30 kilometers. So let's take Jimmy and then let's take Jay. The distance that Jimmy covers obviously is 30. And also the distance that J covers is also 30 kilometers or 30 kilometers. The speed that Jimmy takes is x kilometers per hour, while J obviously he takes 5 kilometers per hour slower, which will be x minus 5 kilometers per hour slower than him. But we don't know the time that Jimmy takes, and we don't know the time that J takes. But they say that they start together and the difference in their traveling time is 1 hour. But let's find the time for Jimmy, and this and time is given by distance over speed, and therefore it's going to give you 30 over x. And time here is given by obviously distance over speed, the same case, so it's going to be 30 over x minus 5. So now J being slower or having less speed is going to take more time, while Jimmy being faster is going to take less time. So we'll say that the difference, so we'll take the biggest, the one with the highest time or the longest duration, which is 30 over x minus 5. We subtract with the one with the less time taken, which is Jimmy, which is 30 over x, and it gives you a difference of 1 hour. That is okay, so very easy. Now, after getting this, obviously the next step that you're going to take is find out the LCM of x and x minus 5. And the LCM of x and x minus 5 is just basically x and x minus 5. So is this the LCM? So the LCM, we multiply by the LCM throughout, so x minus 5, and also you multiply here to x and x minus 5. Okay, but since this is an equation, now the denominators will cancel out, this one will cancel out with this, and therefore you just have 30 times x, which will give you 30x. And this one will cancel out with this one, the x is cancelled, will just remain with x minus 5, and therefore you're going to have negative 30 times x, which will give you negative 30x, and negative 30 times negative 5 is going to give you positive 150, which is equal to also, now x times x minus 5, because it won't cancel out with anything. Let's expand this out, x times, or let's say obviously 1 times x, 1 times x is going to give you x, so x times x is going to give you x squared, and x times negative 5 is going to give you negative 5x. And just like we said, if you multiply by 1, it will give you the same exact thing. Okay, now let's cancel out the ones that you don't need, especially you have 30x minus 30x, will give you 0. You remain with 150, which is equal to x squared minus 5x. Okay, now bring this together. Let's start with x squared minus 5x, which is equal to 150. Come on. Now let's bring them together. The 150p, bring it to the other side, and you're going to get x squared minus 5x minus 150, which is equal to 0. And again, sum is negative 5, and your product is negative 150. And your factors, you're going to search it out. And most probably, I might think, I know my factors are going to be, how much would it be? Should we use the box method? Let's find it out. Maybe it's going to help us. The combinations for the first one is going to be 2 and negative 75. Okay, we have 3 and negative 50, or negative 3 and 50 as well. Can apply, but I don't think any of it will work. We also have 50 divided by 5. We have 30 and negative 5 as well. I think this one is the most favorable. So your factors are going to be 30, not 30 and negative 5. I think is negative 30 and 5. This one is the best one. So negative 30 and 5, because if you multiply the two, it's going to give you negative 150. If you add them, it's going to give you no, still those are not the factors, by the way. Let's continue still. We have 6. Yeah, we have 25 and negative 6, but still what about 8? No, 150 by 9. What about 150 divided by 10? We have 15 and 10, so most probably it's going to be negative 15 and 10. So the factors are negative 15 and 10, and therefore let me just write it down here. So you're going to divide it into x minus 15 and x plus 10, which is equal to 0. So we say that x is equal to, for the first one, obviously, since x minus 15 equal to 0, x will be equal to 15, or x plus 10 can be equal to 0. Then obviously the other x is going to be negative 10. So those are your answers, kamakawa, kamadawa. Now, what if you have a question like this? Very simple and not tricky. So we told, think of a number. Let me think of a number. Let's say our number is x. Multiply by 3. You're going to get 3x, and subtract 1. You're going to get 3x minus 1, and finally square the result. Okay, now if the number formed is equal to the square of the original number, so let's first square this one. So 3x minus 1 squared is equal to the square of the original number. This is equal to the square of this original number. That is, the original number was x, so if you square it, it's going to give you x squared. Down. But let's open this up. If you open this up, is going to give you, okay, the question is asking you to determine the number, obviously. So if you square this one, it's going to be this way, 3x minus 1 times 3x minus 1. Okay, but let me just rub this. I know that it will be equal to that one. So obviously 3x times 3x is going to give you 9x squared. 3x times negative 1 is going to give you negative 3x. Negative 1 times 3x is going to give you negative 3x. And negative 1 times negative 1 is going to give you plus 1. So if you collect the like terms, 9x squared minus 3x will give you minus 6x plus 1. And that is equal to the x squared that we said if you square the original number. So now let's write it this way. 9x squared minus 6x plus 1 is equal to 0. Not equal to 0, but equal to x squared. Now let's move the x squared to the other side. So let's subtract x squared here. Subtract x squared. And you're going to have, obviously, you having 8x squared minus 6x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Then now let's find the sum, product, and factors. So the sum is going to be negative 6. The product is going to be 8 times 1, which is 8. And the factors are going to be, if you add the two numbers, it gives you negative 6. If you multiply them, it gives you 8. Those two numbers are negative 4 and negative 2. But since the coefficient for x squared is not 1, just use the long method. And the long method will involve splitting the negative 6x into negative 4x and negative 2x plus 1 to be equal to 0. Now, obviously, factorize. The common factor for the first two is going to be 4x, and therefore you're going to have 2x minus 1. The common factor for the other one is negative 1, which will be obviously 2x minus 1 equal to 0. Therefore, you're going to get 4x minus 1, then 2x minus 1 equal to 0. Obviously, 4x minus 1 equal to 0. Minus 1 would be 4x is equal to plus 1. We divide by 4, x is going to be a quarter. Okay, or 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. If you put the negative 1 to the other side, it's going to be 2x equal to plus 1. And if you divide by 2, x can also be equal to r. So, and therefore, x is either a quarter or x can either be a half. Those are your answers. And I think this brings us to the to our last question. So don't forget to subscribe, comment there, share it to your friends so that they can also what do you call it? They also can contribute to the society. Okay, but all in all, don't forget to share. To also follow my playlist in case you've missed out on some topics, and other topics will follow up, especially on reflection, congruency. We have a lot of topics for grade 10. We have areas, trigonometry, vectors, surface area, volume, solids. We have statistics, probability. So check out my YouTube channel, and also I'll post chemistry lessons as well. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.